Premier League. Yeah. Okay, we missed that. That's good. So yeah, that seems to be the essence, to watch the mind, not to let it go completely astray, berserk. Okay, we'll start and hope that people turn up. Yeah, you're going to try?
Yeah.
If you need more cushions, Naveen will give you one. So we have a couple of Italian friends today who are just come in from Jaipur and are leaving tomorrow? Day after?
No, we're leaving at the end of the week.
Okay, end of the week. Where do you go next?
Back home.
Oh, back home. So you're staying in Delhi a few days?
We're staying in Delhi for more than a week.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, there's plenty to see. Just be careful. It's sometimes the air is not very good for people who come from abroad. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, everyone. We'll start now. I'll just silence the people online because sometimes there's some background noise. So thank you, everybody. We'll start with posture and motivation. So posture is important because obviously energy flows in the body. And if our posture is crooked, then we cannot breathe or even think properly. So we need to be upright. So if you can have the back a little upright and front of the body open, that would be good. Let the shoulders be relaxed, not drawn back, but not hunched. Arms relaxed by the side of the body. Hands can just rest on the knees. Traditionally, we probably usually have them in the lap, but knees is fine. Head tilted slightly down, slightly forwards. So back of the neck a little stretched. This takes pressure off the neck. And it is said that it helps us to reduce the conceptual thinking. So for the first kind of practice we'll be doing, we are not encouraging the thoughts. But before we even start the practice per se, it's important to generate the right intention, motivation for practice. For example, a person could leave their home in the morning. There's almost always some kind of intention of what they want to do, where they're going, what they're planning to do. So as we sit here, why are we here? This is something interesting to ask. Sometimes in the summer, people might want to come here because it's very nice and cool, or they may feel very peaceful here, which is wonderful. But these are not considered very meaningful motivations for being here. What is really good is if we can begin to understand the situation we are in as human beings, the predicament, the tensions that are there in being alive. So even though human life is considered very wonderful and the best kind of body and mind to have in order to practice spiritual path, still, as we know, there are many, many, many difficulties. Some seem to be coming from the outside, most of them. But actually, the Buddha said that the root of all of our pain, all of our problems, the root of it lies within the mind. and the actions of body and speech that have been motivated through the mind. And of course, Buddhism believes in past and future lives. So what we are today is considered to be the culmination of at least many, many, many previous causes that we have created in the past, not just this life. Of course, this life, our body, what we look like, our color, our genetics, that comes from our parents. There's no quarrel there. But the mind is not considered to be the same. The consciousness is not considered to be the same as the brain matter, as the neurons or the brain alone. Depends on the brain, yes, at the moment, but it is not the brain. There is something else, awareness, which is not just the brain. Anyway, that's a big topic. The point here is that we are suffering. We never seem to have total, long-lasting contentment or satisfaction. We're always caught up in a mind that seems to be wanting something. Wanting. Never really at peace with itself. So this is the situation for everybody. Not just me and you, everybody. People we like, people we don't like, neutral people. Everybody has problems, deep problems, as we know. So our motivation, our intention, sitting here comfortably or slightly uncomfortably at Tushita, is that, my life might be more meaningful if I were to not just think about myself. Maybe life becomes quite meaningful if I include others in my aspirations, if I were to care for others as well. Of course, this is natural for even chickens and animals to care for their young, as it is for humans. But here we're talking about a kind of unconditional reaching out and caring for others, whoever they are, and helping them if we can. And at least mentally, not rejecting anybody, not mentally. So if we can generate these kind of qualities of equanimity, of sort of balance based on love and compassion, and also the wisdom, knowing that we are interdependent. We depend on one another. That is very, very clear if we look carefully. Country depends on country, people depend on each other, we depend on nature and animals. Nature, unfortunately, is suffering because of how we are treating her. So everything is connected. And of course, according to all of the great traditions, they understand the connection between this earth and the humans and the planets, the solar system, the universe. So everything is connected. And if we behave selfishly, you see, just for me, that's just stupid. It's not understanding the interconnectedness, the relationship with others, the dependent relationship with others. We can be individuals, of course, we have to be ourselves and develop our own potential, but with others. We can never, according to Buddha, and I think other religions understand this also, we cannot forget the kindness of others, even our enemies, because the enemy teaches us patience and genuine love, I think. It's easy to be nice to people who are nice to us, but someone who's not being nice to us, we have to develop some kind of inner strength, something else from within. So you see, even the enemy is very kind, and the enemy cannot be looked upon with anger, not at all. So whether you take that reasoning or whether you take the reasoning that we are all God's children and so equally deserving of love, it's up to you what is most effective for your mind. But in the Buddhist tradition, I've just explained a little bit how we think. So our motivation here as we sit together and we're going to investigate, we're going to meditate and reflect on a few verses from chapter 8 of the great Bodhisattva Charya Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, which can help us to undermine our selfishness and truly, genuinely reach out and help others. Or at the very least, at the beginning, not harm them. Stop harming them so much, whether human or animal. And of course, stop harming the planet. So, slowly, slowly, by degrees, we can develop that. There are other motivations too, but this might be enough. There are Buddhists, of course, aim for complete liberation, meaning to stop being conditioned by ignorance and anger and attachment and jealousy and pride, to uproot those emotions or transform them so that they no longer impede our spiritual growth. In fact, can be used as manure on the path. But individual freedom, liberation is not the highest aim of Buddhism. Becoming a fully awakened person is the aim. Becoming a Buddha, no less. That is said to be possible because we all have a mind, and we therefore all have a very deep, clear, pristine, pure level of mind, which can be activated, and we can become fully enlightened, just like the Buddha. So for us, the Buddha, of course, is very kind. The historical Buddha gave teachings, but every human being has the potential also to become fully awakened. In similar to how the Christian mystics felt that, and of course they had to be careful because the church wouldn't be happy with it, but they said that they had God within them. They came very close to saying that they had a oneness with God, which the church might find difficult. Anyway, so Buddhism has no problem with that we are all potential Buddhas, and Buddhism doesn't consider a creator God. We have other explanations of the universe. Anyway, for now, we can think if this is all too complicated, let us at least become a little bit more kinder, more intelligent, open-hearted human beings, so that we can get on better with everybody. Our partners, our children, the shopkeepers, everybody we meet. May we get on with them better and contribute to their happiness. Okay, so now we'll sit quietly for a little while, being aware as we sit upright. So check your posture, it's still upright. We will be focusing initially just on the breathing, the breath, in order to calm the mind. So just be aware of your breath, the sensation of your breath, okay, as you breathe in and out. Sensation at your nostrils. You can feel the air coming in and going out of your nostrils. So just be aware of that and notice how the mind keeps on getting distracted by thoughts, memories, plans, what you hope to eat tonight or whatever. So notice them very calmly, notice the thoughts, but do not follow them. Let them go and come back to the breathing. So this is the simple instruction. Recognize any thoughts or memories. Don't follow them. Let them just go peacefully, very relaxed way. Don't be upset with them. Just let them go and come back to the breathing. Sensation of breathing. And as you breathe out, it can be very relaxing, just feeling you're relaxing with the out breath, letting go of all the worry and the tension, just leaving your body with the out breath. And having a very attentive but relaxed attitude to the practice, not trying too hard, and of course not being too loose or relaxed, but relaxed enough to not become tense. And if we keep the body still, that will also help. So and make sure the muscles of your face are relaxed, around the eyes. Sometimes when we want to focus, the eyes become a little bit tightly shut, just gently shut. Even a little bit open is okay. And around the mouth, also relaxed. Around the jaw. And just relaxing with the out breath. So we'll sit quietly for 6 or 7 minutes. Thoughts will come, that's natural. Just recognize them, let them go. Come back to the breath. Relaxing with the out breath. you need to stand up or stretch, please do that. Oh, some hot water would be great. Thank you. Just half. Oh, thanks. So just one thing, especially for people who may be a little new to this. So you might say, what's the purpose of that meditation? Well, there are several. One is, of course, it can make the mind a little calmer, more focused, which is said to be very important later if we want to go deeply into investigating reality, how things actually exist, who am I, etc. We need a very focused mind, obviously, not a mind that is jumping everywhere. But the other thing is, with this practice, we can engage more and more in what we call non-grasping or non-craving. Buddha said that one of the main reasons we suffer is holding on, grasping, craving, not being able to let go of feelings, emotions, thoughts, whatever. We cling, we crave, we want. Thank you. So that makes it very difficult. And so in this meditation, a very exciting or a very sad thought may come up, but we don't grasp at it. We don't, we don't hold on to it mentally. We just observe and we let go. And another thought comes, observe, let go. Back to the breath. So in other words, as one teacher put it, which I didn't understand initially, then it made a lot more sense. You don't have to believe all your thoughts. You see, we regard thoughts as some kind of, real, something very real, something, we deify it. We make gods out of our thoughts, we might say. But face it, if there was a computer or some, machine that could actually write down all the thoughts we have in one day, thousands and thousands of images and thoughts and memories, we would be very embarrassed. And just reading all of them would take a long time. And how many of them are really necessary? How many of them are also actually useful or in accordance with reality? We might find very few. So we don't need them. They're just junk in the mind. It's like when we clean out your house, so you have your house repainted or something, you find so much stuff. And then you say, I don't need this, It's junk. And you give it away or you throw it away or burn it. So it's a bit like that. We don't take what is happening in our mind so seriously. It doesn't mean we regard everything as a joke, not like that. But what's the point of holding on to a sad memory or an exciting thought when you are trying to make the mind very calm and relaxed? What's the point? It's not helping. And it's just making you stirred up. So we just see how it is possible to observe, let go. Back to the breath. Back to the breath. And the breath is something wonderful. It's there all the time. Since we were born, some of us may have had some kind of near-death experience or some other kind of fit, which the breathing may stop briefly, but only very briefly, right? Then it came back, like in the movies, when someone thumping your chest and stuff, then your breath comes back or your heartbeat starts. But for most of us, we've never stopped breathing. So it's something very wonderful and which is deeply connected to our physical and emotional state. It is said most people don't breathe properly. We don't breathe deeply enough or smoothly enough, and we can tell. When we do slow down and pay attention to the breath, then we can become calmer. Of course, it may seem like we're not calmer because we can clearly see all these thoughts, which we weren't looking at before because we were so busy. We didn't notice them. But the mind also becomes a little calmer and we can let go. It's very useful to be able to let go, right? On all levels. You can see that historically countries can't let go. So then they keep on having problems with each other because we seem to need somebody always to blame for our problems. So we don't let go of past hurt and aggression from others or so forth. Forgetting, of course, our own aggression. We focus on the aggression of other people or whatever. So it's good to be able to just let go, come back to something which is calm and clear and which is not making us want or reject anything. Just let go. When we let go of the thoughts, we don't let go of them with anger or impatience. We just simply let go as though they were leaves falling from a tree. You observe, okay, let go. Well, one teacher gave a very good example. He said it's like being at an Indian railway station and you get these very long goods trains, yeah? Goods trains with the cargo, coal or something in the train. Many, sometimes 100 carriages, So you're sitting on the platform, you're watching them. They come and go, right? They come and go. You don't start chasing after one of them. You just look, oh, it comes, okay, go. Next one, okay, it's gone, let go. Or like a general on a parade, the soldiers are coming past in ranks. Okay, they're coming, one group, you salute, okay, they go, you let go. Then the other group comes, you salute, and they go. You don't try and chase them. You don't get attached to one group. You have to keep on just noticing each group and then they go. So like that, not getting stuck. It's said in the past, I don't know, monkeys may be more intelligent now, but in the past, you could catch a monkey by putting a banana in a cage, and the cage door is just enough for the monkey to take its hand out if it lets go of the banana. If it keeps on holding on to the banana, the hand does not come out and it is caught. And they would catch monkeys that way because the monkey doesn't want to let go. It wants the banana. So it doesn't let go, gets caught. So we're like that monkey. We don't let go of things. And so we can be in a situation where we don't talk to somebody for 10 minutes or 10 years or the whole life because we don't let go of something they said or said improperly, or we are very upset at something. So we don't let go and we suffer. The other person also suffers. Or maybe we suffer more than the other person by not letting go. Anyway, does that make sense? I think actually, I get the feeling Italian people can let go more easily. I don't know, I think more relaxed. Mediterranean people more relaxed. I think the climate has something to do with it. And maybe the wine and the olives and the used to be more relaxed. Now maybe not so relaxed because of world affairs and all the refugees and so forth makes some people a bit uptight. But anyway, I have many Italian friends, Buddhist friends, and they're kind of relaxed people, Anyway, but even some British people quite relaxed. Although now they left Europe, I don't know what will happen to them. They're suffering because of leaving Europe. Anyway, we're not discussing Brexit here. The point is letting go or holding on. What is better? So we can experiment even just with our fist. Try and hold on to your fist for 10 minutes, and it's painful. If you let go, you can sit for a long time with your hand open. It's painful to hold on. Yeah. It's even painful to keep on sending WhatsApp messages, right? Because your hand keeps on, doing, just let go. My index finger, I can feel pain now in this part of the hand because I do WhatsApp messaging with this finger, largely. Then you see all these young people doing like this, and I feel kind of jealous. They're quicker and they're using their thumbs. Maybe their thumbs are stronger, Anyway, we need to let go, and this meditation helps us to let go. Okay, let's look at some Shantideva verse. I can't remember exactly which verse we got to, but there are a few verses we could look at. Chapter 8, meditation. Here, Shantideva, you have to remember, was talking to a whole bunch of monks in the 8th century. So, of course, monks have very strict rules, yeah? There are all these monks living in Nalanda Monastery, one of the greatest universities of the world. And of course, they have to obey many rules, just as Christian monks have to. Except I think Christian monks were allowed to drink wine and beer and even produce it. And that was not allowed for Buddhist monks. They're not allowed to touch alcohol, drink alcohol. Anyway. And here Shantideva is trying to help the monks to reduce their craving and attachment, in this case towards women. If Shantideva had been a nun talking to nuns, she would have talked about attachment to men, presumably. But here he was, an 8th century Indian, talking to 8th century monks, mainly from India. So of course, he's talking about the sins of the flesh, or in a sense, just as you'll find in the Christian tradition. But he's using a lot of reasoning. He's not just making moral statements or saying this is good, this is bad. He's not saying that. He's using reasoning. He's saying, okay, verse 56, all right, verse 56 of the meditation, chapter 8, he says, "It is not so strange that I do not understand the bodies of others to be of an unclean nature, but it is indeed strange that I do not understand my very own body to be by nature unclean." So of course, if we have strong attachment, then the other person is like a god or goddess, right? No question. But he's saying, do not understand the bodies of others. Oh, okay. That is one point, but he's not saying that here, is he? He's saying, what's he saying? Naveen, help me out. I'm getting confused here. What do the first 2 lines of verse 56 mean? Right. First 2 lines of verse 56. Can you? I'm getting confused by the double negatives or whatever there are. It's not so strange that I do not understand the bodies of others to be of an unclean nature. Like, whatever, what does it say in Padmakara, verse 56?
56. To fail to grasp the unclean nature of another's flesh is not perhaps so strange, but not to see the filthy nature of oneself is very strange indeed. I understand this as someone else's body is foreign to you, and that we don't recognize its impurity. It's understandable. While one's own body is so proximate to you in the everyday that it should be easier for us to see how filthy it is.
Mm.
And therefore, it's strange that we are not able to identify with it.
Is he saying that people in general understand the bodies of others to be unclean or not?
No.
They're not.
No.
People aren't understanding. And they're not even understanding their own bodies to be unclean. Okay, so this is a very good point he's making, isn't it? Because Buddhism was saying we don't understand who we are. and not just at the deep level of the nature of our mind, which is a very deep topic, but we can get so intoxicated with our own body, especially these surface, I don't know how thick skins are. I think men's skin is supposed to be thinner than women's skin. Is that correct? Any doctors here? Anyway, it's skin deep, the beauty or the ugliness or whatever. Inside, you start cutting here, and then you open it like some Leonardo da Vinci anatomical drawing or something, or a modern drawing. And what do you see? Is it so nice? I mean, we use air fresheners and so forth, I guess, a lot in our toilets. You see what's coming out of our body. Today's someone's birthday, we'll put in all this delicious cake and stuff into our mouths. And what's coming out the other end? Why? If our body is so pure, it should be coming out the same or better. Of course, this is one way of reasoning. Of course, you can use biological statements to say, look, the body's doing its work, it's getting rid of the impurities. But you know what we're saying? If you look at Buddhist cosmology, it is said that thousands of years ago, as it's there in the Christian tradition, beings had very long lives, thousands of years, at a very long distant past. And before that, they didn't even have bodies with digestive organs and genitals and so forth. A very pure light kind of bodies. We didn't need other people's bodies to gain bliss or satisfaction. Okay, this is a long time ago. And gradually, due to the force of previous, what we would call karma, desire arises, wanting arises, and then eating, the need to eat, the need to drink and eat, and so forth, arose. And the body became more and more and more gross compared to what it had been. So that now the age lifespan is 100, a little more for some. And according to Buddhist texts, it will go down to 10 years will be the lifespan at some point, when the karma really degenerates, due to various reasons, of course. And then it will rise again in the future. Before Maitreya Buddha comes, it again becomes, can be much longer lifespan. So anyway, what we're saying is, right now, we have a body that has so many needs. Every few hours, we need to put something in our mouths, Some people less than others. And we need all kinds of stimulation. And Shantideva is saying, having forsaken the young lotus flower, unfolded by beams of sunlight, free from cloud, why, with a mind craving for what is unclean, do I revel in a cage of filth? Oh dear. Verse 57. Since I do not wish to touch a place that is smeared with excrement, why do I wish to touch the body from which that excrement arose? You may say this is nonsense, but again, remember who he's talking to. There must have been a lot of very lustful monks at Nalanda, so he had to say something that was quite strong, right? I've actually traveled in India 30, 40 years ago, when the toilets were not as good as they are now. And I can tell you some of them were smeared with excrement. So this verse means something to me, and it wouldn't mean it to you, especially if you're on holiday from Italy in very nice hotels and good bathrooms, But if you've seen Indian toilets, when you get out of the bus, and it's just like, it's not a toilet, it's just you can crap wherever you want. It's disgusting. And all of this stuff comes out of the human body, right? It's not like, it's not the same for me. So yeah, but this is the kind of body we're very attached to. Since I don't wish to touch a place that's smeared with excrement, why do I wish to touch the body from which that excrement arose? And then, of course, it goes on and on. If I'm not attached to what is unclean, why do I copulate with the lower parts of others' bodies, which arise from the unclean field of a womb and are produced by the seeds within it? He's very politically incorrect, right, by modern standards. He would get arrested. He would get attacked, taken to court by not just Me Too movement, but by others if he if someone got up and spoke like this in public, and some activists found out, they would take Shantideva to court for this verse, wouldn't they? What do you think? Would they? Yeah, people like you would take him to court, you know? Yeah. So, but what is he saying? On the other hand, this is a basic Buddhist teaching. Higher Buddhist teachings regard the body as incredibly pure. In the Vajrayana or Tantric teachings, the body is regarded as a vehicle for bliss, but it does depend on the right state of mind, the right kind of mind, and very, very skillful practices. But of course, at the basic level, this body is dirty. Every day we have to clean it in most climates. We anoint it with perfumes, sprays, otherwise it doesn't smell good. You know, why? Because it's impure in that sense. Of course, your definition of impure may be different, but anyway, yeah, I have no wish. Yes.
So what you
Speak
were
up,
reading
please.
earlier, 15
Ah,
days.
ah,
So, if I may reread it, to fail to grasp the unclean nature, another's flesh is not so perhaps strange, but not to see the filthy nature of oneself. We are not saying one's own body. And hence, I feel it's also about how is it that we don't see our own mental defilement? Can we read it that way?
you could, but here he's talking about the body, because he's talking to monks and trying to reduce their lust. But of course, it applies to the mind even more, because it all comes from the mind. But then there are other parts of the chapter which deal more with the mind, right? I think. What happened to birthday party? Huh? Oh, okay, you see, I'm already thinking about birthday cake and things like that. Not only do I not disparage the uncleanliness of my own body, but because of an obsession for what is unclean, I desire other bags of filth as well. Good grief. This is the heavy artillery of Shantideva. Other bags of filth. He would definitely be taken to court for describing, in this case, women's bodies as bags of filth. Of course, he's also implying that his own body is a bag of filth, but he would not be popular with today's activists. Even attractive things such as savory foods, cooked rice and vegetables make the ground dirty and unclean should they be spat out after being in the mouth. Yeah, let alone going right through the digestive system into the toilet. Even you spit them out after a few seconds. Well, birds do that with their offspring, but we humans generally don't. Sometimes a mother, I think, in some cultures will chew the food and then give it to the child, but maybe not so common in civilized European countries. I don't know. Depends. Although such uncleanliness is obvious, if I still have doubts, I should go to the cemeteries and look at the unclean bodies of others that have been thrown away there. Okay, there is this tradition, in the southern tradition mainly of Buddhism, not so much in Mahayana, to go to cemeteries, and especially the poor cemeteries where people didn't have the money to burn the body. And you see the body after 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. It's not nice. It stinks. It's being eaten by birds and maggots or whatever. And yeah, it has a powerful effect on the mind. One monk from, I think, Sri Lanka or Thailand, he was advised by his guru, his teacher, to, in retreat, to see everybody's body, especially women's bodies, as a skeleton, to see it as a skeleton. And he said he did it so powerfully during the retreat. When he came out of retreat, he was seeing skeletons everywhere, because it affects what you see, what you meditate on for a long time, it affects what you see. But we're like that. At the time when Osama bin Laden was being hunted down, you see anyone with a beard and that kind of cap, oh, Osama, isn't it? We see people like that. I was recently in Bodh Gaya, and the lawyer's son was called Osama. I was kind of, for a split second, oh, Osama, you know. But they were very nice people and helping us a lot, so I could get over it. But we're easily affected by what we think and see. So anyway, this monk was seeing skeletons for a while, not forever, but for a while he was seeing skeletons. Having realized that when their skin is rent open, they will give rise to a great deal of fear, how will such things as these ever again give rise to joy? Okay, I think we get the idea. We don't need to keep on. But this, yeah, I mean, he's really, yeah. Look at verse 72 and 73. It's very painful. As a child, I'm unable to increase my wealth. As a youth, what can I do? Being unable to afford a wife. This is as per Indian culture. At the end of my life, when I have the wealth, being an old man, what good will sex be then? How do they translate that verse 72 in the Padmakara?
To gather riches, young boys are unable, and what can they enjoy when they are full grown? The whole of life is spent in gaining wealth, but then they are old, too old to satisfy their lust.
Some malicious and lustful people wear themselves out by working all day, and when they return home in the evening, their exhausted bodies lie prostrate like corpses. Or today, you dump yourself on the sofa and you watch TV or any of the other things you have now. Happy birthday, Sagar. We'll embarrass you even more later, but come and sit down. Come. We've been waiting for you. You can't sneak in like that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is our, sorry, I have to show people what we're referring to. This is our birthday boy for today. Say hello to your friends. He's a little embarrassed, still quite young. How old are you? Less than 35, right? So you're total youngster. Total youngster. Okay. It's lucky you came, otherwise I thought I was going to miss birthday cake and stuff. Okay. Look, it's 100% already. Where were we?
72.
About how cake makes excrement. Yeah. Some have the suffering of being disturbed with travel, having to go a long way from home, and though they long for their spouses, they don't see them for years at a time. That's a big suffering. When I think of migrant workers, people working in the Middle East, or just people working away from their families, their children, their wives, their husbands, it's just awful. Some sell their own bodies. Without any power, they're employed by others. Even when their wives give birth, their children fall at the feet of trees or in lonely places, or nowadays next to the cement mixer of the building they're building in a city, without being looked after properly. Some fools who are deceived by desire, wishing for a livelihood, think, I shall earn my living as a soldier. Then, although afraid of losing their lives, they go to war. Others become slaves for the sake of profit. So all of this. And then he says something very, very important in verse 82. This is very important. The objects of desire will certainly perish, end. And then I shall fall into hellish states, meaning because of my lust and desire and craving, which will affect my mind, including at the time of death, it will then propel me into a very, very difficult situation. Hellish even. However, we think Buddhahood, spiritual path is so difficult. Shantideva says Buddhahood can be attained with just 1/1,000,000th of the difficulty of ordinary searching, ordinary craving and grasping life after life since the beginning of this time. Yeah, a millionth of the difficulty. It said if we practice purely, we can gain enlightenment in at most 16 lifetimes, which is nothing compared to beginningless lifetimes, beginningless mind, beginningless lives. If we're very, very, very powerful practitioners, even 3 lifetimes, we can attain Buddhahood. But certain teachings say, to give different numbers, but they're very small compared to the number of lives we've had so far. No comparison. So he says, I've been involved in continually exhausting myself for the sake of what isn't very great, not very great. Hence, the desirous people experience greater misery than those following the awakening way of life. We might feel very sorry for monks or nuns or people who are quite ascetic, saying, oh, poor things, they're not enjoying the pleasures of life. But if they're doing that properly, then they are having far less suffering than ordinary people who are following the path of simply desire. And for them, there is no awakening, the ordinary people who are continually exhausting themselves. And if we were to contemplate the miseries of hell, verse 84, it'll be clear there's nothing comparable to the harm caused to desirous beings, even by weapons, poison, fire, ravines, and enemies. So, in fact, according to Buddhism, although we say ignorance is the main cause of suffering, actually, in practical terms, we might say that it is craving, desire, attachment, craving. Yeah, well, if that doesn't make us upset, nothing will. So having developed disillusionment with desire, I should generate joy for solitude. But this is where we become very lyrical and, have visions of beautiful forests. The fortunate ones stroll in peaceful forests, free of disputes and disturbing conceptions. One has this image of course, rather different, of Dante in the forest, yeah, at the beginning of Inferno. But he's very afraid of that forest because he still has to deal with a lot of stuff. But and he has a lot of fear. But actually, if one has prepared one's mind and naturally likes nature due to previous karma, then forests are amazing. And one's disturbing conceptions do go down because there's nobody to fight with. There's nobody to get attracted to or angry with in a forest. You can't go around really kicking the trees or feeling lustful towards the water or leaves. It's naturally the mind becomes more relaxed. There's no sound of traffic. And if there's no mobile tower nearby, then there's no messages, which is painful. But anyway, one would get used to it. One would get used to no messages, depending on when one was born and one's predilections. But yeah, okay. So people who do this, they live in joyful houses of vast flat stones, cooled by the sandal-scented moonlight, fanned by the peaceful, silent forest breeze. Thinking, and this is important, they're not just being there thinking of their next destination or, I'm not going to be able to get my favorite food tonight or something. They're thinking of what is of benefit for others. They're there to develop compassion and wisdom. They're not there to fantasize about what they're missing from their urban life. What's the translation of that, please, in verse 86 in the Padmakara?
Happy those intent on others' good, who roam in pleasant places formed of massive stone, refreshed by moonlight, sandal-scented beams, by gentle woodland breezes too.
They dwell for as long as they wish in empty houses at the feet of trees and in caves, having abandoned the pain and of clinging to and guarding possessions. They abide independent, free of care. Let's meditate on that verse, because as far as I'm concerned, I have a lot of possessions and it's not easy to let go of them. One has responsibility for an apartment. And although one is grateful for certain privileges that come with that and comforts, it is like a burden also. What would it be like to let go and live very simply, as Shantideva is suggesting? Just more simply, at least. Maybe a place, I don't know, half or a quarter the size or less of what one has, with very few possessions, just some water to drink from a local spring or whatever, simple food that somebody brings up to you up the hill or wherever you are, which you can cook once a day, have one meal, one good meal, and maybe a little snack at another time, and that's it. To be content with that. What would that be like? Is it possible? Have we ever done anything approximating that? Just do a thought experiment. Could you imagine that? And again, thinking of how you might benefit other people. Because the retreat, being in that place, is not forever. You're doing it to calm and transform the mind so that we can develop genuine goodness, so we can help others who are suffering. Think of your most beautiful landscape, a place you love, which is a little bit away from a town, a beautiful natural environment. What would it be like to be there for more than just a few days or weeks? If you could, would that be possible? And would we be able to, and of course, presuming you don't have work commitments and so forth, would we be able to survive without our modern instruments, our technologies? Would we feel nurtured by the rain and the wind and the leaves and trees, or would we feel uneasy very quickly with the lack of people, no vehicles, very little sound, just birds maybe? Yeah. I'll read the next verse and then tell you a story from the Buddhist tradition, and we can reflect on that. Living as they choose, without desire, having no ties with anyone. Even the powerful have difficulty finding a life as happy and content as this. So in the Buddhist tradition, there's a place called Rajgir, not far from where the Buddha attained enlightenment. And in the bamboo grove there, the Buddha gave a lot of teachings traditionally to his monks. in that place, especially during the rainy season when the monks would not move around. They would stay in one place and stay there because of the weather, and they would meditate, receive a few teachings, and so forth. So there was a monk called Bhadia. And when he was meditating, he would keep on uttering certain words. He would keep on saying, oh, how wonderful, how marvelous, and so forth. And it was beginning to disturb the other monks. And they thought that Bhadia was regretting becoming a monk and remembering his time when he was a powerful governor of a region. And so they complained to Lord Buddha, saying, look, this new monk, he's making a lot of sounds, and we think he's upset. You should talk to him or ask him to leave if he can't stand this life. So the Buddha said, okay. And they sat together, and he asked Bhadia, what's going on? Can you explain to the monks why you are saying what you say during meditation? Because it is disturbing them a little. So he said, Lord, I'm very sorry if I've been disturbing your monks, but when I was a governor, I was powerful. I had a lot of guards, wealth, property, but I was never happy. I was always a little afraid. There was always some kind of fear or tension of losing what I had. There was also fear of people who were against me. So there was never really any peaceful moment. A life of constant anxiety, fear. And now, Lord, that I've become a monk amongst your Sangha, and I can sit and practice in the way that you have explained, my mind is filled with such calm, such joy. And that is why I utter these words. So I'm sorry if I've disturbed anybody. And then at the end, Lord Buddha says, thank you, Bhadia. Even the gods have difficulty, you see, having as much peace and enjoyment that you are having. Yeah, so that was the story of Bhadia, the ex-governor who became a monk. And the bamboo grove is still there in the spot where it was said to be in Buddha's time at Rajgir. If you go there, it's very beautiful. And there's a pond, a big pond, where it said there was a pond at that time. And a very lovely bamboo grove. So a very beautiful historical place. Not very far from where the Buddha, the famous Heart Sutra was pronounced on Vulture's Peak. So having in such ways as these thought about the excellences of solitude, I should completely pacify distorted conceptions and meditate on the awakening mind. Just one more verse, so we get a little bit of idea what's involved in meditating on the awakening mind. What's the initial phase of that? Awakening mind means this mind of great compassion, wishing to be of benefit for others, and not only benefit, but may I attain the state of a Buddha in order to be able to benefit all sentient beings. So he says, first of all, I should make an effort to meditate upon the equality between myself and others. I should protect all beings as I do myself. Why? Because we are all equal in wanting pleasure and not wanting pain. Seems a very simple statement, but I think it's quite deep. And if we were to think about it more often, this particular statement, it might help us not to feel so much anger and annoyance towards people who seem to be creating a lot of upset for me and others. Because actually, what is everyone wanting? Everyone, whether they are a Stalin or a Hitler or anybody, serial killer, or a king or a queen or an ordinary person or a mouse or a mosquito, what are they all wanting? They want something that makes them feel happy, something that is pleasant. I don't think you'll find any animal or normal human being who is deliberately looking for pain. We can talk about masochism or people who get weird, kick out of certain kinds of pleasure, but pain. But even behind that is the wish for satisfaction and pleasure, you see, getting pleasure from pain. They're not trying to get pain from pleasure, right? They're trying to get pleasure from pain. No one wants pain. Everybody wants happiness. The reason we cannot find the happiness we wish for, according to Buddhists, is because it's as though built into us is the knowledge that the highest happiness is Buddhahood, which we can achieve. And so actually we will never be fully satisfied until we become Buddhas. It's like the acorn of an oak tree, knowing that I can become a huge, wonderful oak tree, not being satisfied with being in the ground, not being satisfied with a foot high or 10 feet high. I can become a wonderful oak tree. So I'm not satisfied with being stunted or not even sprouting yet, like that. So, yeah, sorry I've spoken too much, which is stupid, given the state of my throat. It's just a bad habit. Any feedback? Online feedback, real feedback, unreal feedback. You look very worried, sir. Don't be so worried. you looked a bit worried. Don't worry. This is we Buddhists can be quite sane also. We're not all like Shantideva. He was a monk when he gave this teaching. Later he wasn't. He was what we call a great Mahasiddha, a person with tremendous spiritual powers. So it's not like he had to remain a monk all the time. But at this stage he was, and he was teaching monks. So of course you give a particular teaching. But this thing about solitude and being in the forest, that doesn't have to be only monks. We can all benefit from being in the forest, like tribal people traditionally in India, although it's becoming harder for them due to all the mining and upper caste people looking down on tribals. So they have a hard time, but they are people who lived in the forest, in harmony with the forest, by and large. Yeah. Navinji?
It struck me that it appears contradictory that you have to withdraw to be able to understand the interrelated nature of everything.
Why? Why should it be? Makes perfect sense to me. If we don't slow down and pay attention, how can we know what's going on? We're just from one thing to another, one duty to another, one meal to another, one WhatsApp message to the next. How would we know what is reality? What I really want even? Because there's too much input. It's like, having a mix. They give you a mix now on WhatsApp because they know what kind of music you've listened to in the past. So they give you a mix. So you just keep on listening to your favorite tunes and then, okay, nice. But what else?
I think it's also because.
Could you speak up?
I think it's also because the system is not configured to show us the interconnection. So obviously.
What is not configured?
The world that we live in, systems that we use and in a sense operate within is not designed in such a way that you automatically appreciate the interconnections, the interdependence.
You think so?
I think so.
In one way, I think it does so perfectly, to play devil's advocate. I mean, the internet and everything, it's an amazing example, isn't it, of interconnectedness?
Yeah, but then your social credit by using the internet comes by, in today's age at least, comes by how visible you are online, whether it's on the social media platforms, and then it becomes about, it emphasizes the individual over the individual class.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's about individualism. It's about I, me, mine, isn't it, nowadays?
As opposed to living in a commune, for example.
Sure.
Where that system actually
Sure.
emphasizes that if somebody doesn't get milk, then I can't make, the food for lunch. So
That's
we have
right.
to make sure that person wakes up and gets milk.
That's true. We can be so immersed in our technologies that we're just in our own little bubble, and then we order our lunch or food from outside, and it comes in a packet, and we don't really think about the interdependence of it. It's at our fingertips. It comes, it goes, and we don't cook ourselves maybe. And if we have a cook, we take them for granted, and meals come, just come in front of me somehow magically. Yeah, if we're selfish enough, we don't think about interdependence. It's not selfishness, also ignorance. It's not like we're deliberately selfish. We just don't recognize. You're right.
And the culture.
Yeah.
The organizing culture.
One thing I loved when I was at university, they showed a bunch of Satyajit Ray movies, the famous ones, the Patar Panchali, those black and white movies. What was amazing about them is all these slow kitchen scenes with people in kitchens pouring water, making food. It was just amazing because it shows you somehow a slowed down version of life. Because even when I watched them many years ago, life was speeded up compared to traditional cultures, right? And at university, of course, everything just provided. Or you go to a pub and it's, you just order your meal. It was amazing because it somehow slowed things down, and you saw it seemed like real people engaging in, I don't know, it just seemed more, what should I say? More real, more sane. And being in black and white also, it hits you more when you're just used to color all the time. And recently, I know Vishad was there, we saw this amazing film, Aparajito. You were there, Sagar. Like Sagar, I think, you organized it. Amazing movie based on Satyajit Ray, which brought out something similar, the sort of interdependence of things, how things connect. And I guess any good artist, author, poet, whatever, brings out the interconnections of things, which we can easily miss. You're right. Okay, let's have a game before our Italian friends have to go. So can you give everyone one balloon? Where did the balloons go?
Just under you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to keep one. There should be enough. One balloon each. Okay. And then there's some, okay, maybe we don't have to deal with the ribbon. And you blow your balloon, and on the balloon, you have to write something, either one word or a phrase, which you feel is appropriate according to, it doesn't have to be connected with today's teaching, but if it is, okay, but it should be something also not just down or, the body is bad, I have to give up my body, not like that, but something uplifting, useful. You have to write on the balloon. Sorry, I should have brought more marker pens, but there's one here. Yeah, that was a mistake not to bring more marker pens. So I hope you all remember how to blow a balloon up, if you go back to your childhood, and then also how to tie it up without string. It has to be big enough to write something on it. Sorry, folks, online you can't have a balloon that you can imagine you are blowing a balloon. And we're just having a bit of fun here because it's Saga's birthday and also relieves the tedium of having to do things a certain way all the time. Okay, so I hope. Good, 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 good. No pops yet. Not that we're trying to get them to pop. Okay. This is the tricky bit if you don't have nimble fingers. And I hope, yeah. And has someone finished already? You can. Oh, it's a red on red. Okay. Might be able to see it. We have these, are they helium balloons? They go way up. We had these big ones in Bodh Gaya, and Rinpoche, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, our teacher, had all these slogans written on them, Dharma slogans, and then he let them go, you know, after giving a speech, of course. And it was great fun. Huh? Bob, how's your balloon going? This also can tell you whether you have COVID or not. If you can blow it up, you don't have COVID. Okay, how are we doing with our balloons? I have to write on as well. Ah. Huh?
What were the instructions?
Write something uplifting since it's someone's birthday. It can be a quote from any favorite author, the Buddha, Christ, Bob Dylan. Oh, Bob Dylan would be good. Wow. So many lines from Bob Dylan. Dante's Inferno, if you know a few lines. In Italian, of course. Or from your university lecturer. Lik diya kuch. Good. Next. Who's got the pen?
Somebody else can go.
So likhiye na. You can't think of anything? Nahi, humko de do.
For a balloon. Something uplifting.
Or just whatever. Funny even. But not too irreverent. I hope the onliners are thinking of what they would put on a balloon. And if you have a balloon at home, you please blow it up and write on it.
The best color.
Haji. Still haven't thought of anything. I think you're too tired. Dadi Ma Zindabad. Haji, sir, have you write something in Italian? It's such a beautiful language. A lovely language. I wish my mother learned, but I never learned.
How long did you spend in it?
I haven't spent any time. My mother went there on holiday and she loved Italy. She lived in London and she just loved Italy. Many people from that climate were, of course, told to go to Italy, as you know, for health. Became a big deal to go to Italy for health reasons. But I think it was just so nice for her to get away from her parents and go to Italy. She had many friends there. Have you written? No? Not too long, don't need to write a life history.
I don't understand.
There could be, I should have got a whole thing, stupid of me.
I've
Okay.
got one more back.
Where?
There's another one back.
In the drawer?
I gave it to the back.
Okay, okay. Bob, have you done your job?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's tiny, Bob. That's like a little anarchist bomb. But it's good, better than nothing.
One word. Oh,
Okay, meanwhile, you can mention anything, people online. Do you want to say something? Just because we're having a little game here doesn't mean you can't say something.
We should start with Sujit.
let's
Kabir.
restart.
Huh?
We should start with Sujit. Invite him for a round.
Sujit, if you had a balloon, what would you be writing on it?
Depends on the surface area
Sujit is
available.
our poetic expert who is amazing with poems. What would you write, Sujit ji? Hello. Sujit,
Yeah, can
come
you
in.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Sujit
Going like circle.
not there.
Can you hear
Ajit
me?
ji, आप क्या
Kabir
लिखते
ji.
हैं अपने balloon पे? Ajit ji disappeared as soon as I asked him.
Kabirji, I think you need to put up the volume. I think you aren't able to hear any of us.
Ishant, लिख दिया कुछ? Thanks for doing the meditations. I forgot to say thank you. कैसे रहा सुबह? लोग थे? Very good. Oh,
Oh, yes. The inspiration is still happening.
okay, maybe while we wait, we can engage in
Kabir
part
ji.
2 of our exercise, or at least something. We'll ask everyone to read out. Anybody online have something they would write on a balloon? A Dharma balloon? What did you write? Huh?
I haven't written.
Empty slates.
Who's got the pen?
It's gone down.
Haji, no super long messages, something short and sweet. आपने क्या लिखा?
Equal.
Huh?
Equal.
Equal?
Don't be boring.
What do you mean equal? Equal मतलब?
Last one.
Huh?
Yeah.
हमारी जो कल बात हुई थी in the morning,
किन से?
आपसे मेरी बात-
मुझसे बात हुआ कल सुबह? Equal. What is equal?
if I try to see your Buddha in
Ah.
everyone, then I try to see your Buddha in myself as well.
That's a very cryptic statement just to put equal.
We are equal.
I think you're lazy on your birthday. You should be trying harder. Equality लिखते, equal लिखा.
Equanimity.
और equanimity, he probably doesn't know the spelling of it. Anyway, sorry.
ये वो है,
Okay, Vishad bhai, क्या लिखे?
मैंने कबीर जी लिखा है experience over intellect.
What's that?
Experience over intellectual.
Experience over intellect.
Yeah.
मतलब experience divided by intellect.
No.
Oh,
मुझे कई बार लगता है, I feel sometimes that we get so intellectual in these sessions that we often
Yeah.
forget the experiences.
exactly. We get too intellectual, says Vishad, and we forget the experience or the, yeah, right.
That's true for all of us. For
That's
Buddha
right.
and modern society.
That's right.
And often I was reading this book, Emptiness Yoga.
Emptiness yoga, yeah.
And the author talks a lot about experiential knowledge in the second
Oh,
chapter.
absolutely. Yeah. Sir, our friend from Italy, what did you write?
I wrote a quote from Dante.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful. A quote from Dante.
Italian, but I will translate.
Please, first read it in Italian, please.
Fatti non foste a vivere come bruti, ma per seguir virtute e conoscenza.
Wonderful, sir.
You are not meant to be brutes, to live like brutes, but to follow virtue and knowledge.
Wonderful. I love that. Quote from Dante. You are not, you have not been born to follow the way of brutes, but the way of virtue and knowledge. Yeah, virtue. No one speaks of virtue nowadays. It's an unknown word to most people, but it's such a wonderful old word. Yeah, virtue. It probably means a lot in old Italian, in Dante's Italian.
What is it?
Maybe not much to Berlusconi. So how would you define virtue, sir? How would you define virtue in a simple way?
Virtue.
Please listen. How would you define virtue?
To define virtue as a behavior or a state of mind which is enlightened by God.
A state of mind which is enlightened by God. Okay. God understanding. Yeah, God. Okay. And it would lead to happiness, presumably, some kind of good result.
Justice and to justice.
Justice.
To a just life.
Okay. 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 Wonderful. Okay. Could we do and bring the pen and then we'll have the next phase? Thank you. That's wonderful. What did you write?
Privileged community.
Haji?
When I write a short story called The Kitchen, I have a quotation from that. It says, Mudita is sweeter than Modak.
Meaning?
Mudita is joyful compassion. It's sweeter than Modak. You know what Modak is?
What is Mudak? I don't know.
Modak is like a sweet.
Mudak.
Modak, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Mudita, like sympathetic joy. One translation. Yeah. One of the four immeasurables. Great. Okay. What did you write, Navita?
Be light as you.
Be
Light as you.
life
As light as you.
as
As the light.
As
Not
light
heavy.
as helium.
As
Be light as helium. Okay. But that means also that one spaces out and becomes unattached. Okay. Then I've written, and actually it's wrong, but not wrong. This is from Shantideva's 9th chapter, which I'm avoiding because I don't know how to teach it. But there's one verse in it I understand. It says, please recognize that all is just like space. All is just like space. That's one Buddhist teaching. Like space. Not space, but like space. Okay, anyone? What's yours?
It's actually from the Bible.
From the Bible, great.
Be still and know.
Isn't it be still and know that I'm God?
I'm God, but I adapted.
You didn't want to add the God bit. Oh, okay. So that's from John, I think, or one of the Psalms. Yeah, beautiful statement. Be still and know that I'm God. So everyone has realized in these traditions, without slowing down and being still, we're just like headless chickens, you know, destroying ourselves. Okay, the lady here, sorry, I can't remember your name, never knew it. Ita. You'll have to speak up, or someone will have to act as a loudspeaker. Let your heart be open. What was the rest? Naveenji? Even if some people don't receive it?
Love can't be destroyed.
Love can't be destroyed. Wonderful. Wonderful. Are you, which kind of love are you talking about? There are several, yeah? Have you seen Bollywood movies? Have you seen Indian movies? Or maybe Italian movies? So is it that kind of love? Is it that kind of love you're talking about? No. Okay. Then it's difficult, no? Some other kind of love? The love of the ascetic in his cave or her cave? Anyway, good statement, but think about it. Our friend from Italy, the lady.
Quoting Shakespeare.
Oh, wonderful.
To be or not to be, such an expression.
Yes, to be or not to be. Wonderful. Yeah, to be or to have nowadays. To be or not to be, from Hamlet. Wonderful. Thank you. Anand.
So, the point of least danger is where we fear the most.
What's that?
So whenever we are about to make a bungee jump, when you are about to make the jump, before you have made the jump, you fear the most, but you are the least danger. But once you have made the jump, you sort of think, super chilled out. Once you've made the jump. So it's like the point at which you're at the least danger is that you fear the most.
Can someone translate that for me? And so I can say it, because I didn't get it really properly. Anyone? Did you get that, Navita? Not really. Okay.
So when you're about to make a bungee jump.
A bungee jump. When you're about to make a bungee jump.
When you're about to make the jump.
Yeah.
You're standing at the edge. That is the point at which you are at the least danger.
Least dangerous.
And you fear the most.
And you fear the most. Yes.
But once you have made the jump.
Once you've made, or while you are making it.
Once you have made the jump.
And you're halfway, maybe.
You're halfway. You don't feel anything.
You don't feel anything.
Oh, okay.
You go numb.
Yeah, you go numb. Like if you already feel it.
Wow.
Like, wow.
I think I'd be terrified.
Exactly. Point before you make the jump is where you fear the most.
It's like the coward dies 1,000 times before death, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing. Or you do the sky jump. Like when you're in that helicopter, you feel that you have to make the jump. But once you have made the jump, the thrill just takes over.
You wrote all of that on your balloon? Wow. Okay, folks, you need to see this.
If there's no ink left, that's problem.
Thank you. Bob, what did you write?
I wrote Shantideva eternally
Shantideva, happy birthday eternally.
Sagar.
Saga. Okay, wonderful. Now, for the next part, you have a slight problem. You think I don't have a slight problem? Only you have a slight problem? What's the slight problem? No problem. Eight. Well, tell them we're Buddhists and we're always delayed. Okay, so, okay, then quickly, can you just go behind the throne and,
Me?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's big. Did you find anything?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And he's the birthday boy. Okay. And let's hope he has room. Happy birthday. Well, this is just the first part. You should open it, because then it'll all be. Sit down. You can sit down. Now that comes with the cake, which can also be taken out and cut. Open it, yeah.
Come on, Sagar.
We have to show our people online what's going on. Never too late. Oh, I forgot. Okay. You're supposed to light a candle. You can do that in birthday candle. Bob, can you give this to him? And then he has to bring it and light it.
Bring it and light it.
Just give it to him, he'll open it. Or Bob? Bob, ye bhi de dena humko. Yeah. Today is reaping the effects of good karma. Sorry, I couldn't get the color I wanted, but that's all we had. Actually, we need some scissors to cut off the price. Could someone, there are scissors in that drawer. इसको खोल के आप जला दीजिए बुद्ध भगवान के सामने. हाँ हाँ. And also this. Yeah. ले लो ले लो ले लो. अच्छा, did he give you the diya? दिया ले लो. पहले इसको वहां रखो. हाँ, वो टेडी बेयर में जो दाम लिखा ना, right hand side. हाँ, it's just near his neck. It's near the neck. Don't cut his neck. The other side. Other side. बढ़िया है ना? Cute bear. You can put another sign there later. So
We need to see the bear.
Tushita said, now Yeshe has a friend. I said, no, this is a friend for Sagar, not for Yeshe. Thank you. Haji, take, where's your candle? So I think matches are here. So you can just light it in front of Lord Buddha, would be good. Yeah.
So how old is the birthday boy?
How old? He refuses to tell us, but he is certainly under 50.
Refuses to tell us.
He's about 30. Not too old, not too young. Looks younger. You look younger, Sagar. And now with the teddy bear, you could be younger.
Absolutely.
I would like to know. If you want me to read it, and I want you to read it, and there are a couple of things. I'm sure, yeah. I think very important, very specific amount. It's like, yes. That was.
Oh, it's on your list.
We thought it was about to leave, but I want to wish you a happy Christmas.
I got the matches.
Everyone's favorite is that everyone's favorite. Please have some take before you go. Maybe our Italian friends can go. So, there's some brownies as well. Well, you didn't tell them. People have to be told everything nowadays.
Happy long life to you. Sorry, we're having a. He already thinks he's a film director. Okay, folks, sorry you couldn't be here and enjoy the festivities, but Sagar got a nice friend. He got a bear. So we hope he's happy with the bear, the cute bear. Yeah. Okay, folks, I'll have to call it a day because we have to go to a restaurant and there's a booking for 8:40 or something. So thank you very much. We'll continue tomorrow with a more normal session. Meanwhile, thanks for joining us and very good night. Thank you. Bye.
Shalom, Kabir.
Please dedicate on your own